We also buy gold scrap and sterling flatware. If you wish to buy or sell any of these items, please call 402-327-2853 for an appointment.
One shot, one life.
Welcome to One Shot, One Life, helping you win with money, people, faith, work, health, and your hopes and dreams. We help you stop worrying and start winning.
I will not waste my life watching the world go by. I've only got one life.
And now, welcome your host, best-selling author, speaker, CEO, husband, and dad, Doug Fitzgerald, on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, welcome to One Shot, One Life. I'm your host, Doug Fitzgerald. Thank you so much for joining us today. Everyone here at One Shot, I want to wish you and your family a happy Thanksgiving weekend, right? We've already had it. It's past, but it's still a holiday weekend. We've got a lot of people enjoying their time together, and we're just thankful that you're here. We also want to welcome those of you who are joining us on Facebook Live for our broadcast, 1400 KLN. All you have to do is, if you're listening, you can jump on Facebook, see us live. You can see all the crazy faces behind the scenes. We want to thank our Facebook producer, Johnny Cadillac, in the studio today, taking care of us and making sure we look good on that video feed out to the world. So thank you, Johnny, for that. And also thanks to our, well, now we're actually seeing it more and more. You're becoming famous, our executive producer and dance icon, Josh Floyd. Josh, thank you so much for all you do. How was your Thanksgiving?
It was great. It was a good time with family and friends, and it was just nice getting together.
What's your favorite food? Just curious.
Oh, boy. So, I mean, normally it's just chocolate automatically. This year, however, my favorite part of Thanksgiving dinner, my wife, Crystal, makes pecan pie bars. And, like, I don't know. They're just out of this world.
Like candy?
Yeah. Dangerous. Super dangerous. So delicious.
Yeah, I love it. I mean, Thanksgiving for us, we go to my folks, and like my wife said today to our kids as we were walking into the house, it was our kids and my mom and dad, and they're like, just take a deep breath in when you walk in the door. It's just the best smell ever, right? It's kind of a culmination of all the food.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick one, I don't know if I could. That's the whole point. Just take it all in. So it was good.
That's a cop-out. What's your favorite? There's got to be one.
Seriously, potatoes, gravies, turkey, pie. I mean, seriously, just got to put it all on a plate and eat it.
That's true.
So,
are you one of those guys that just kind of mixes everything together on one plate, or does it have to be separate?
No, it's all in one plate.
For me, it has to be like I'm okay if like the gravy hits the potatoes and the turkey and the stuffing.
You got to pour it all over.
Naturally. Yeah, but I'm. That's about it. Like I can't otherwise have things touching.
You don't want gravy on your cranberry sauce?
No. No, sweet and savory. That's a little much. I can't do it.
Well, it's been a good weekend. We're thankful that you're here. Busy weekend here in Lincoln and across the country. So if you're traveling, be safe out there. Today's show is going to be a little bit different today.
Yeah.
We're in prepping for the show, we thought that since it was a Thanksgiving weekend, we decided to have a show that highlighted the people that have had a tremendous impact on our lives and inspired us. And so we're going to talk about that here in the studio, and also open the phone lines because we want people to talk in, or call in, interact with us. Also on text line, we'll have that open. I'll talk about that in a second. We've also had people interacting with us on Facebook as well, and so you can join us by just typing in the chat box there, and if we see it, hopefully we'll be able to get you online. We're also going to spend some time sharing life-impacting wisdom that people have also shared with us. And then for our final segment, get this, we're going to sift through our first 11 episodes. Can you believe we've done 11 episodes so far of the show? It's going to be cool. 11 episodes. We're going to hear from several previous guests as they share their personal wisdom with us as well. Now, this is going to be pure gold. You're going to want to listen to every second of it. Plus, there's more. We got more.
But wait. There's more.
We got bonuses. We just received the brand new single from recording artist and American Idol finalist Madison Watkins. We've had Madison on the show several weeks ago and had a great feedback from people just about the show, but also inquiring about her future and what she's doing. She has a brand new song out called Someday that's just been released, and we have a fresh copy of it ready to go. So we're going to play that as well. It's been hitting social media by storm. Madison just recently she sang the national anthem at the Lakers game, I think, at the Staples Center. I don't know if it's called Crypto.com now or something like that, but she's been doing some pretty cool things around the country, and we're just grateful that she's a friend of the show, and we're going to be able to play her brand new single. So we'll hear that in the last segment. We're also now opening up the Rick Stein Recognition Hotline for people to call and text in 402-479-1400, and you can also, again, chat with us on our Facebook feed as well. Now, a quick update for next several weeks in regards to the show scheduling. Now, due to Husker football's over, but now we have basketball kicking off, and due to Husker basketball, our schedule might be a little bit sporadic. So when there is a game during the day, we will not have a show, but if there's a game at night, we will have a show. So since many of those games even haven't been announced yet, we're going to play it week by week, but we do know a few show episodes that we have coming up for the rest of the month of December. Next weekend, next Saturday, December 4th, we're excited to have the band Voda. I know Johnny Cadillac's excited about that. Brian Olson and John Wooten are the band. Brian Olson used to play with a Christian group called the Newsboys back in their heyday. He traveled around the world with them, so he has great experience in performing in front of large, sold-out stadiums. So he's going to be here. The reason why I'm going to have Voda in is because Brian wrote our theme song, One Shot, One Life. And we're going to talk about not only the story behind that, but we're also going to talk about what Voda's doing in regards to their future. They got a lot of great things coming up in 2022. John Wooten is the other half of the band. He owns Artillery Media here in Lincoln. He's an amazing musician, performs with several bands, but his main gig is with Voda. And so to have them both in the studio is going to be great. I wish we could have them play. I mean, that eventually we'll have a setup to be able to do that. But I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, it'd be really cool
to have them do that. But they're going to be here, and we're going to talk about them and their tour and what they have going on in 2022. Saturday, December 11th, no show. Saturday, December 18th, my good friend Jennifer Thum. I'm super excited to have her in. She's actually on the show. She's from Pennsylvania. She's a licensed professional counselor. She is amazing. One of her focuses is family and youth counseling. She's been practicing for over 20 years. And she really has been working tirelessly towards really ending generational patterns of dysfunction and abuse. But the reason why I want her to come in is she's going to be sharing some powerful tips on how to handle stress during the holidays, specifically with difficult relationships, loneliness, depression, and much more. She's going to give us great insight on that and also how to set ourselves up for success in 2022. So we'll have Jennifer in. Then on December 25th, great program. Obviously, it's Christmas Day. So we got great programming with Mannheim Steamroller, so we won't have a show that day. I mean, we're getting bumped by Mannheim Steamroller. I mean,
yeah, you can't really argue with that.
Can't argue with that. So excited to have that as well. Now, 2 weeks ago, we had national economist and best-selling author Jerry Robinson on the show. He was absolutely amazing and awesome. He shared about how to create multiple streams of income, and then once you have that money in your bank account, how do you protect it and how do you grow it? We also dug deeply into how inflation is really taking money out of our lives at this point because things are so expensive. So that's a show you definitely want to check out. It's worth your time. You can find it on our Facebook video feed at 1400 KLIN. And also you can go to KLIN.com to see it on our podcast there. And then also anywhere that you listen to podcasts, check that episode out. We would love to have you check it out and listen to it. Jerry's just a great guy, great friend of the show now, and hopefully we'll be able to have him back as well. Now, to wrap up our first segment, I want to talk a little bit about priorities. And the cool thing about it is once you set priorities, you start realizing that there are other people in your life that really have made a huge impact to help you achieve them. So I don't know if many people know, I'm assuming at this point you do, but the show is based off my best-selling book, One Shot, One Life. The ultimate success formula to help you win at anything in life. And in that book, we walk through 5 powerful principles that help you achieve the top priorities you want to achieve. Now, you can order the book at Amazon.com or anywhere that you find books and wherever they're sold. Love for you to go out there and get yourself a copy. But I've already seen several posts, and this usually happens about this time of year, where people are saying, hey, I want to achieve some great things in 2022. What do I do? How do I set goals? How do I set priorities? And what steps should I take to successfully achieve those? Well, the One Shot, One Life Ultimate Success Formula is the perfect system for you to be able to achieve really anything in your life. It is a culmination of 5 key principles of success that I've been implementing over my life over the past 35 years. And the system that I've developed has helped thousands of people across the country. It's fun to say because it's true. Really achieve and accomplish the top key priorities in their life. Now, I wanted to share a few examples of these because they're inspiring. And I think as we start looking at 2022, what are some areas of our life that we want to stop worrying and start winning and start achieving in? Missy and Shane paid off over $50,000 in the last couple of years, saved up an emergency fund of $2,000, and I just got word this week that they're paying off the 5-figure student loan debt that's been hanging over their head. And that's something that we worked with them on through the Ultimate Success Formula. Jackie and Jared sent me a text back in August, said, "Hey, Doug, we're finally able to refinance our mortgage and drop the PMI, so now our payments will decrease by over $500 a month, more money to put towards debt every month, and we'll have it paid off in no time."
Awesome.
So that's exciting. Mike is a CEO in Missouri. He increased his company sales by over 45% using the Ultimate Success Formula and saved thousands of dollars in taxes for his company. Brad repaired a strained relationship with his wife, and this is a common theme because, I start out the book talking about, the worst night and the worst fight that my wife and I had in our relationship and how that really spurred me on to realize that I had gotten my priorities way out of whack. And so a lot of times for guys, we struggle with the relationships, but then we kind of hide ourselves in the corner and try to deal with them on our own. And usually that's probably the worst thing to do because we usually don't take care of them the right way. And a lot of times it affects the relationship with our spouse. And so to hear the stories of people who've really said, you know what, I want to make a priority in my life going forward about mending, developing, and growing my relationship with my spouse is always fun to hear and exciting to hear about how people have done that. Spencer, using the Success Formula, wrote and published his first book, developed a workout program, and is now creating multiple streams of income for his family. He's doing all these different tours around the country where he takes people who are high achievers on these these weekends, these power weekends where they kind of go through personal development and physical fitness development and all that. So it's really cool to watch him grow and develop that. And Jennifer, after years of struggling, finally got her health under control, losing some weight, feeling good about being in her own skin. So these are just a few of the things that the Ultimate Success Formula has helped people achieve in their life, and the list goes on and on and on. So it's really fun to hear those stories and walk through that with people. Now, what a lot of people don't know is that I've been using this for decades in my own life. And it's been a tremendous help. And I usually don't share this a lot with a lot of people, but I want to share with you, our listener, the impact that the Ultimate Success Formula has had in my life in just a few areas. For instance, it helped us really establish our financial plan when we first got married, and we're able to pay over $30,000 off early on in our marriage. Now, it doesn't sound like maybe a lot now, but 30 years ago, that was a lot of money. And it helped us out. We've been able to grow a 7-figure savings and investment portfolio to take care of our family's needs, utilized the Success Formula to save our marriage. We've talked about that. Develop a deep and loving relationship both with my wife and kids. We've built several highly successful businesses. Over 20 years ago, I lost 35 pounds, and that really began my health and fitness journey. We've been able to maintain that healthy lifestyle, again, for over 20 years, and so much more. So we just want to share with you that, if you're interested in really thinking about how am I going to really attack 2022 to achieve those things in my life, the Ultimate Success Formula is a great way to do that. Simply get the book. We've also got other tools and resources on our website at oneshot1life.com that you can utilize. I work with people and coach people one-on-one. We have mastermind groups. I've got a great online course that can walk you through that as well. So, and again, you can find my book on Amazon.com or anywhere that you find books. Now, here's what I'm getting at with all of this. The Success Formula is effective, but it didn't just happen. All right, it didn't just show up, or I didn't just create it out of thin air. The Success Formula are principles that I had been taught by people that came alongside me in my life. People who have had great stories, who have taught me the principles of success that they had in their lives, and then impacted my life as well. And so what I'd like to do for the rest of the show is really highlight those people, not just with me, But Josh here in the studio, we're going to have Johnny Cadillac on the air as well, and we'd love for you to be able to share. We've got a lot of Facebook comments, too, that we're going to share of wisdom that people have learned from people who have had impact in their life. So it's going to be a great show to be able to dig into that and really look at these amazing people that have really changed our lives. Now, Josh, as you look back at your life, I know we talked about this over the last couple of weeks. Have there been people that have really had a powerful impact on you?
Yeah, many people that have helped me out, given me a hand up along the way.
So we're going to talk about some of those?
Yeah.
You ready to go on that?
I'm ready.
All right. Well, hey, in our next segment, we're going to celebrate those people who have had a critical impact in our lives, and we want you to join us as well. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to share about the people who've made these impacts in our lives and why, and hopefully it'll spur your memory of people who have had deeply impacted your life as well. Plus, we're going to give you action steps then to encourage them. We'd love for you to join the conversation. All you have to do is call or text in the Rick Stein Recognition Hotline at 402-479-1400, and you can also comment on our Facebook Live feed as well. You're listening to One Shot, One Life on Lincoln's #1 news and talk station, 1499.3 KLIN.
One Shot, One Life is presented by Lincoln Coin and Bullion, buying and selling precious metals. Start winning. This is One Shot, One Life on 1499.3 KLIN.
Welcome back to One Shot, One Life. It is 24 past the hour. I'm your host, Doug Fitzgerald, and we've had some exciting things happen on the last few weeks. As a matter of fact, one of those is we are now on every single podcast feed that you can get. So, Josh, why don't you walk us through how people can get signed up for that?
You bet. So if you're already a fan and a listener of podcasts, it's easy. Just search One Shot, all one word, One Life, all one word, on your favorite podcatcher. Or if you're not familiar with podcasts, first of all, they're amazing because you can listen to awesome shows like ours anytime you want. You don't have to get on Facebook to watch the video, though please still do, because you want to see our beautiful faces. But if you want to listen to the show anytime, anywhere, take it with you. You can download it to whichever podcatcher you want. Probably the biggest one is Apple Podcasts. And you just get on there. There's Stitcher, Spotify. There's a ton of them if you Google them. There's a bunch that'll come up. But whichever one you decide to use, you just search, again, One Shot, One Life, all one word each. And like us and subscribe, and then you can listen to us. Like I said, we're right there in your pocket. You can download the episodes and listen at your leisure, and you can binge them, and you can watch and listen to them over and over and over again.
Yes.
And on Apple Podcasts, one thing that really helps us a lot is if you do get value out of the show, we would love it if you could give us a rating, 5-star rating, preferably, but then leave us a review. It really helps our numbers there.
And we've got great guests. And the first 11 episodes have been amazing.
Yeah.
The guests that we have. So you can learn a lot from these people. As a matter of fact, make that one of your resources for personal growth this year. Tune into the One Shot, One Life show. We'd love for you to tune in live. And if you listen down the road, get it on the podcast and jump in. So I want to thank you, Josh, and also Kenny Larrabee here at Broadcast House for getting that feed out and making sure that we're available worldwide on that. So thank you very much. Well, in the first segment, we talked about you really taking those steps to achieve your top priorities for this upcoming next year. Every year this time, I always go through the Ultimate Success Formula myself personally, and I want to challenge you to do the same. But here's the cool thing. When you go through that process, you start realizing that it's not just about you. You have other people that have come alongside in your life that have made a huge impact. So in this segment, I would really want to just touch upon some people that have really made impacts in our lives and challenge our listeners to go through, spend time this week thinking about who are those people that have really changed my life in a certain area, in a certain way. And towards the end of the segment, we'll give you some action steps to really encourage those people. How does that sound?
Great.
Sound good? All right. So let's start looking at this. I know personally in my own life, I started looking at this over the past couple of weeks, and I'm like, you know what? There are so many people, right, that you can start thinking about that really have made an impact. There's family members, there's teachers, there's coaches, there's work people. There's also people that have just coming to my life out of the blue, like I've had, and I can't wait to share in January about a transformation personally that I've had because of something that really happened about 6 weeks ago, somebody I just met. And so we'll talk about that and actually going to be a new one of our new sponsors on the show as well. So we'll talk about that next year. Little teaser there. But there's all kinds of people. So for me personally, I think back early on in my life, the first person that impacted my life I would say be my parents and grandparents, right?
Sure, yeah.
Just great people that taught me the value of hard work, taught me the value about relationship and how important family is, and working through the difficult times as well as the good times, and adding that value that's really been instilled in myself that I've been able to pass down to my kids as well. My first teacher that I think of that really taught me about how to think outside the box, her name was Mrs. Coates, and she'd come into class sometimes and you never knew what was going to happen. Maybe she'd jump on a desk and start singing a song, or maybe she wouldn't show up for like the first 5 minutes. You're like, what's going on? She started teaching me to think outside the box, and it was okay to dream. And I'd never had that before at that level. So she had a huge impact on my life. I think about radio and my radio career. Mike Creasel, when I was 16 years old, he took a gamble on me to put me on the air at 16. There wasn't anybody less, I guarantee you, younger than 25 in that studio. And they're probably like, who's this kid? But it was a dream of mine, right? And he took a chance, and he made a difference for me. Then I think of how that's come on, 30, 40 years later. And now Amy Graham here at Broadcast House takes a chance on me. Steve King takes a chance on me to say, hey, listen, we love the idea of this show, One Shot, One Life. Let's go for it. So those are people who have made a huge impact. I think of good friends like Tracy Morrow, who's really challenged me to grow personally over the last 15 to 20 years. The value of being held accountable to your dreams and the action steps that you have in your life. And then I think of a business mentor, and this will be the final one, Josh, and I'd love for you to share as well. But in the book, I share about a business mentor that really took me under his wing. I was having a difficult time plateauing in our business from sales and income. And this guy was, had a successful multi-million-dollar career, sold his business. And I just went to him one day and said, listen, Bill, hey, I'm struggling here. And he's like, hey, Doug, let's talk about this. I've got some things that I think can really help you out as I learned about how to grow my business. He literally invited me out to Seattle for a whole weekend, had a presentation for me, kept me in his home. His wife cooked for me awesome meals, but really taught me some key strategies in business that I wouldn't have today if I hadn't spent that time with Bill. So these are just a sprinkling of people, so many others that I could mention that have had a huge impact on my life. And I wouldn't be where I'm at today if it wasn't for those people. So I'm grateful for them. Josh, what about you? I know you've thought about this. We've talked about it.
Yeah, I've put a lot of thought into it. And, as far as the radio goes, I'm kind of in the same shoes. I mean, I got into this super late. And so, Steve King here at Broadcast House, and Amy to an extent took a chance on me having no radio experience. And I'm like, well, you want to do traffic? Okay, you're good at this. Do you want to produce Drive Time Lincoln for a little while? And then I met you. Yep. And you took a chance on me as well. You're like, hey, you're pretty good at this. We get along really well.
Yes.
I'm going to do this show, and I want you to be a part of it. And so, yeah, I'm not. We were talking about kissing up to the host earlier, so I guess I'm doing that right now. But yeah, I mean, obviously, Doug, you have helped me a lot. And one person that I really wanted to highlight today is a lady by the name of Eileen Marison. I haven't given her enough credit, and I think this is a good platform for me to do that. She had a huge impact on me. She owned the Lincoln and Omaha 2 Men and a Truck franchises for many, many years. And I started working for her here in Lincoln in 2005. And when I started out, it's a moving company, so I was just moving furniture every day. And it's hard work, but I loved it. But the thing was, I kind of had a worker bee mentality. Like, I would show up, I would work hard. I had a lot of pride in my work and what I was doing, because, muscles were getting bigger too. So I'm like, heck yeah. And, but I wasn't really thinking about how I could progress in the company. And I definitely wasn't thinking to the future. It just wasn't on my mind. And so I was moving furniture for about a year, and I started getting some pain in my collarbone. And I went and had scans done, and there was pain there, but they couldn't figure out what it was. Nothing was showing up on the MRIs and the CAT scans or whatever, CT scans. And basically, I couldn't work on a truck anymore, but I didn't want to leave. And so they owed me nothing, right? 2 Men in a Truck, we all liked each other, but they didn't have to give me any more of a chance. But I went in there and I basically got on my knees and I begged Eileen, and there's 2 other managers, Jason and Marty, and I said, please, because that was a coveted spot to work in the office at 2 Men in a Truck. You made it if you got a spot in the office, because you're still getting paid and you don't have to bust your butt every day. And there were people in line before me, but they agreed they'd give me a chance. They'd let me work some hours in the office because, again, they didn't owe me anything. They could have just said no, and I would have had to go get a new job. So, I was able to get some hours in the office. I kept working hard, and I really started kind of enjoying bringing on more responsibilities, taking on more responsibilities. And after I became operations manager, I found new, bigger opportunities to take on big projects. And anytime I'd come to Eileen with some crazy idea to build parade floats for the Star City Holiday Parade, which is sadly no longer a thing, or putting in bids to move entire schools. She always gave me her full support, and she showed confidence in me that no one had really ever shown before. And at the same time, she was helping me grow. She was also donating to a lot of local nonprofits, women's shelters, and things like that. So through her empowerment, I was able to realize so much of my potential, but at the same time, she was touching so many other people, and whether they knew it or not. And it was all just due to her generosity and her caring spirit and her faith in other people. And so, yeah, I haven't talked to her for entirely too long. It's been a couple of years, but I really wanted to give her a shout out today because everybody that's ever known Eileen absolutely loves her, and I love her, and I am so faithful for her faith and support, and I know I wouldn't be where I am in life without her, and I owe her so much.
And that's what this life is about. It's about loving and serving other people. That's the core and foundation of what we do, because if we're simply consumed, about ourselves and what we do and not thinking about the other people in our lives, when we get to the end of our life, we're going to regret it. But when we pour ourselves into other people, that's where we add value. That's where we find purpose.
Yeah.
And we don't realize maybe how much we have impacted somebody when we do pour our lives into somebody else, until we look and reflect on the people who've poured their lives into us.
That have invested in us.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's what's important. And so I think what I want to challenge people coming out of this, going into this break here, is a 3-part challenge. All right. The first one is this: take time this holiday season to really think about those people who have impacted your life. Just take time to do it. A lot of we just don't do that enough.
Right.
The second thing is then, once you do that, I want you to make it a point to reach out to those people. All right. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to write them a note or a letter, because writing a note or letter is just a different level of communication that we don't see a lot of today. And there's a little bit more meaning behind that. So that would be the second thing. Mm-hmm. The third challenge is this: now that we've looked at the people who have impacted our lives, then let's make it a point then to start planning and preparing in 2022 of saying, who am I going to intentionally impact? Whose life am I going to pour into and bless them? Because just like she gave you, right, confidence, she instilled with you value, taking your life to the next level. Just think what would happen if you intentionally did that to other people in your life.
Yeah.
That's the ripple that we want to create.
Pass it down.
Pass it down. So think about those 3 things throughout this holiday weekend. We're going to give Johnny Cadillac his first debut after we get back from this first break. Johnny, I'm going to challenge you to come back and talk about somebody that's made an impact in your life. Sound like a deal?
We have a deal, Doug.
All right, Johnny's got a deal. All right, well, if you want to be on the conversation, all you have to do is call or text us at the Rick Stein Recognition Hotline at 402-479-1400. Well, it's time to take a quick break, and when we return, we're going to talk about some of the best advice that we've ever been given in our lives. We're also going to hear from several of our listeners about this topic as well. Plus, coming up later in the show, we'll be hearing the latest single from recording artist Madison Watkins. You're listening to One Shot, One Life on 1499.3 KLIN.
One Shot, One Life is presented by Lincoln Coin and Bullion, where we treat each customer with respect and dignity. Make every single day count. This is One Shot, One Life on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, welcome back. It's 40 minutes past the hour. I'm your host, Doug Fitzgerald. Thank you so much for joining us on One Shot, One Life. Josh, you know what that's the sound of?
Sounds like cold, hard cash to me.
What is that?
That's coins, maybe?
Oh,
Some sort of coins?
that is the sound of silver, my friend. Silver and gold, by the way. So I tell you what, the best place you can find silver and gold in town, Lincoln Coin and Bullion. They are our sponsor, our title sponsor here at One Shot, One Life. Pat, Courtney, Katie, and the crew are awesome. They've been my precious metals dealer for over a decade. I love them. I appreciate them. They teach you about the value of bullion, how it can fit into your financial plan. So if you're ever interested, all you have to do is check them out. You can go to LincolnCoinandBullion.com. And by the way, they only take you by appointment because they want to spend that personal time with you to make sure that the investment you're getting into is something that really adds value to your life. And all you have to do is call them up for that appointment at 402-327-2853. That's 402-327-2853. And if you go in, tell them that you heard about it on One Shot, One Life. Well, in the first segment, we talked about the ultimate success formula and really achieving those priorities in your life. The second segment, we talked about the people that added value to our life. In this segment, we're going to talk about the wisdom that they gave us. But before we jump into that, I want to go to Johnny Cadillac, give him the premier spot here in this segment to talk about somebody who's had an impact in your life.
Well, Doug, I've had so many people as well, just throughout my childhood and growing up and through my church and friends. But the one person that really I thought of more than anyone else when I first started working at Toys R Us years ago, he was a manager at the time who quickly went back to being our HR person. His name is Drew Wicks. Drew and I connected in a lot of different ways. I'm a big wrestling fan myself, and I now ring announce on the side as well. And he's always been there because he wanted to be just more than a coworker. He always believed in me, gave me opportunities while I was there when he could. And then he was always there as a friend too. I mean, if I needed like relationship advice, it didn't matter if it was work related or not. He was always there. And then I eventually parted ways with the company, and now the company no longer is here in the U.S., and I'm still friends with him on Facebook. And when it comes to him now, nothing has changed. He's not our HR person anymore, but he wants to make it clear to those of us who look up to him. He says, anytime you ever need advice for anything in life, I'm always here. And he's not getting paid for it now. Now he's like, let me be your friend. And so Drew is one that I think of first and foremost right now.
That is awesome. And you mentioned a word there that I think is important that we want to talk about is advice, right? These people come into our lives and they don't only just add value, that they provide some great advice along the way. I think of my dad, right? Growing up, he always said a couple of things. The first thing was just, if you can't say anything nice about somebody, don't say anything at all. All right, great advice. Also, if you borrow something from somebody, return it in better shape than you received it. Those things I remember, they just stick out in my head. Dr. Warren Wiersbe, who became a friend of mine before he passed away at the age of 90 a few years ago, probably one of the most prolific Christian authors of our time, lived here in Lincoln, Nebraska, wrote over 178 books.
Wow.
It's crazy. But he told me one thing that stuck with me. He's told me several things, but one thing that I think about almost on a daily basis, he said, Doug, the world was created by people who said, I can. I love that.
Yeah.
Because it just tells you that you have an opportunity to change the world if you'll take that step to do it. Let's walk through Facebook, because this week my Facebook friends and our listeners share with us advice for the show that they had received as well. So let's walk through this. Mark said, don't waste your time collecting autographs. Instead, take that time to make your autograph worth collecting. That's pretty cool if you think about it.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Don Alcorn, he used to be a band teacher or a music teacher of mine years and years ago when I was in high school. He said, my brother told me when I got married, never let the honeymoon be over. I agree with that. Spice things up in your marriage. We've been married for over 30 years. I mean, a little spicy. Nothing wrong with that. Patty Mulry said, prepare your fields for rain. Prepare your fields for rain. I like that.
Proactive, not reactive.
Exactly.
Love it.
Be ready to go and accept the harvest that comes.
Yeah.
My brother wrote in and said this: everyone makes mistakes. Identify your own and learn from them, and or learn from others. Try not to make a bad situation worse. I like that.
Yeah.
And he also said there is always time to praise someone, even for the smallest things. A little praise goes a long way. Great advice. How about Corey Miller? He said, hurt people hurt people. Hurt people hurt people. Forgiven people forgive people. Forgive freely. Mark Birch said advice from his dad was hard work pays dividends. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hoham said advice from his mom was don't be afraid to merge onto the interstate of life. How about you like that?
That's
Again,
great.
going back to courage, right? Taking
Yeah.
that step, right? If there's
Yeah.
something on your heart or passion or something you need to do that's difficult, get out there and do it. Final one from Mike Graham, good friend of mine. He said this, and I love this. If you're on time, you're late.
Oh, yeah.
We always
That's a
said
good
that.
one.
I had a buddy of mine who I helped. We coached baseball together, and he was always like, "If you're 5 minutes early, you're too late."
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I always like that as well. So, any other piece of advice, Josh, that you can think of off the top of your head?
Oh, boy, I'm on the spot.
Yeah,
Well, oh, yeah, my therapist always says what you water grows.
there you go.
Like, if you're angry in traffic, if you water that, that's going to grow.
Exactly.
Or if you're, watering, like, giving praise to somebody, even for a little thing, going back to, I forget who said that, but yeah, if you water that, that's
Yep.
going to grow too.
Yeah, if you plant it, you're going to reap it. So
Yeah.
I like that. All right, well, it's 47 past the hour. We've got a lot more things, good things to come in the last segment here, so we want to get to those. We've been getting a fire hose advice, really, download today, right? All those were so good. And when we come back, we're going to close things out with some amazing wisdom from several of our previous guests by hearing their answers to a question that I call the multiplier. Plus the brand new single from recording artist and American Idol finalist Madison Watkins. So stick around. You're listening to One Shot, One Life on Lincoln's #1 news and talk station, 1400 and 99.3 KLIN.
One Shot, One Life is presented by Lincoln Coin and Bullion, where we respect our clients' privacy. We discourage walk-ins to minimize customer overlap and fully encourage all customers to call us to Anything in life. This is One Shot, One Life on 1499.3 KLIN.
Well, thank you for joining us today on One Shot, One Life. We're having a great time here. It is, 50 past the hour. I'm your host, Doug Fitzgerald, and we want to jump right into this segment because we got a lot to get to. One of the things that we always do, I try to do at least when we have a guest come in, is ask them a final question that really is a gold mine of wisdom. I like to call it the multiplier, and basically it revolves around, if you knew then what you know now in life, what would you do differently? So the question is this: what is one thing you wish you would have known earlier in life that it would have made a greater impact on you and those around you? So I pulled some clips from previous guests, and we're going to get to those right now. The first one I thought was great from Michael Kraus. He's a financial planner here in Lincoln. He was actually on our very first episode, and he talked a little bit about slowing down. So let's hear what Michael has to say. What is one thing that you wish you'd have known earlier that would have had a greater impact on you and those around you? Deep thoughts.
To live the life of an unhurried soul. To slow down, not try to get to the next place so fast, not try to maximize my time and efficiency and effectiveness. I am more harsh with my spouse and my kids when I'm too busy trying to get from one place to another, and I miss out on the better things in life. So just learning to slow down, drive in the slow lane, drive the speed limit, not be in such a rush, and just to be able to enjoy this one life that we have.
That's excellent. That's really good. We were so thankful to have Michael on. It was a great time, great conversation. You can listen to that again. That was the first episode. Here's another one that I wanted to play from Caitlin Phelps. She's just an incredible woman, licensed professional counselor. She shared her amazing story about beating breast cancer at the age of 27. What is one thing, Caitlin, that you wish you would have known earlier on in your life that would have made a greater impact on you and those around you?
Mm-hmm. Well, I think it all comes back to bravery. If you would have told me 3 years ago that I would have beaten stage 3 breast cancer at 26, 27, I would have not believed you. Mm-hmm. And I think that this whole experience really allowed me to truly believe that I was created with courage and bravery, and that I can be resilient and I can go through hard things, and I have the strength to do that, and that it doesn't have to look like what we talked about earlier, always having it together, but that bravery and courage, I was created to be brave and to be courageous, and that looks like asking for help. It looks like acknowledging your own strengths and your own resilience, and waking up at the beginning of the day and say, I'll try again today. Yeah. And so I think knowing my bravery and my courage and how I was created to do this is one thing that has forever changed me.
And we want to get to Madison Watkins before we get to her song. She shared some great advice talking about courage and bravery in regards to pursuing your dreams. What is some advice that you would give to somebody who maybe they're young, maybe they're middle-aged, maybe they're older, who really want to start pursuing their dreams and they may just not know where to start? What would your advice be to them?
Just start is my advice. And that sounds really cliche, but it doesn't matter how small or how big your dream is, and it doesn't matter what you necessarily have. I think we put a lot of blocks in our head of like, oh, well, I don't have the money or I don't have the time, but just start small in your dream. And I specifically want to talk to people that are older than me and maybe middle-aged or older. If you have that dream and you haven't started pursuing it or achieved it yet, do it.
Some great advice from Madison Watkins. As a matter of fact, we want to play her brand new song called Someday, just released. We appreciate her being a friend of the show, and we want to get this out there. So here you go, Madison Watkins, Someday on KLIN.
I hear stories of love like in the movies. They're never about me. Am I doing something wrong? Taking over me, all my insecurities makes me feel so lonely, like I never find the one. But I'm not gonna give in, I'm not giving up. If it don't feel perfect, then it ain't enough. Hopelessly romantic, I won't quit on love. I know that you're out there waiting just for me. All that I imagine, like a vision from my dreams. How long is forever? 'Cause I with you someday. Round the corner when I least expect it. First hello, the first kiss on a rainy summer night. In my white dress, standing there beside you. Will it ever come true? I've been searching for a sign. I'm not gonna give in, I'm not giving up. If it don't feel perfect, then it ain't enough. Hopelessly romantic, I won't quit on love. I know that you're out there waiting just for me. All that I imagine, like a vision from my dreams. How long is forever? 'Cause that's how long I'll wait. Just to spend forever here with you someday. Oh, someday, someday. Oh, someday, someday. Someday, someday. Oh, someday, someday. I know that you're out there waiting just for me. All that I imagine, like a vision from my dreams. How long is forever? 'Cause that's how long I'll wait. Just to spend forever here with you someday. Just to spend forever here with you someday.
Madison Watkins on One Shot, One Life. That's her brand new single, Someday, which is great. I think it's a great finish to today's topic where we talked about really celebrating those people in our lives who have made a huge impact and a difference. I want to challenge you this week and over the holiday season to think of those people who've really changed your life, and then not only just think about them, but then do something, right? Write them a letter, send them a note, let them know how important they are to you. And then after that, start being intentional about your life, your one life, and go out there and say, whose life am I going to impact as well? Well, if you'd like to listen to the podcast of this show or previous shows, you can find them at KLAN.com and all podcast platforms. Simply search One Shot, One Word, One Life, One Word, and you can catch the video playback feed as well on our Facebook page at 1400 KLIN. And we'd love for you to share the show with those that you love. I want to thank our listeners for joining us, and special thanks to our producers as well, Josh and Johnny. And until next time, take full advantage of your amazing one life and make every single day count.